Hello students, welcome to another video of Term 2 series. In this video, we are going to learn about database concepts. Database is a way of storing data in an organized format. Not only storing data, we can retrieve the data in any format you want. So we are going to learn how to store data into the computer in organized way and how to retrieve the data in any format we want. The topics we are going to cover in this session are data, information, DBMS, RDBMS, relation, degree, cardinality, primary key, candidate key, foreign key, and alternate key. One after other, let us learn all these terms in detail. Data. It is a collection of information. Where can we find data? Data is everywhere. If you take a pencil, pencil has data along with it. The color of the lead, the company which produced the pencil, the price of the pencil, everything is data of the pencil. Okay. So if you are going to save the information about this pencil, then that becomes a database. The facts that can be recorded and which have implicit meaning are known as data. So the facts about a pencil is the data about the pencil. This can be a collection of characters. Characters, if you are storing the name of the pencil, that is a collection of characters. It is a name, characters, isn't it? So it is a collection of characters. If you are going to save the price of the pencil, it will be stored in terms of numbers. So that data can be in the form of numbers. Data can be in the form of special symbols. So data can be characters, numbers, or special symbols. Data and information. When we collect data, it is called raw data. We have the price of the pencil, we have the company which produced the pencil, we have the color of the lead. Okay. So these all are some information about the pencil, some data about the pencil. When we process this data, it becomes information. If you can present this data in a form of chart, in the form of a table, in the form of a presentation, it becomes information. So processed data is called information. Now database. Database is defined as the collection of related data or information stored in a organized manner so that it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. So you have data and you have organized the data. Now you are storing the data. Storing the data in terms of data files, in terms of tables, charts. So you are storing the data, then it becomes a database. So in addition to only storing the data, we are having some operations to do on this data. We sometimes want to update the data. We sometimes want to retrieve the data. We want to sometime we need to search for something in the tables in the database. So all these operations, searching, sorting, uh, updating, modifying, all this can be done on the database. Here are some terms which we normally encounter when we learn about database concepts. They are data redundancy, data inconsistency, and difficulty in access. Data redundancy means when we store the same set of data in different tables or different files, it causes the wastage of memory. So this makes data redundancy. You stored file here, then we stored the file some other place, like that. You are creating the duplicates of the file every time, creating memory wastage. Now data inconsistency. When we store tables in different places, sometimes we update the table in one place and we will forget to update in other places. This causes data inconsistency. Now, difficulty in access. Suppose you are making the table into or dividing the table into smaller tables, and you are saving all these tables together in the memory. Now at the time of retrieval, when you want to retrieve the data, what happens? Your data has to be picked up from different tables. This causes some difficulty in access. Database management system. Database management system is a collection of interrelated data and set of programs to access data. So we have already seen that we collected the raw data and we processed it into information. Now this information, we made it into tables and we saved these tables in a computer. Now we want to take out this data in the form of a bill. Okay, we want to print a bill from this data, or we want to print a report card from these tables. So we need a set of program to create a report card from a table of data, isn't it? So the collection of database management or stored data and the set of program that can work upon in this data is called database management system. Database management system helps to create database and to store and manage database. Also, you can update or modify the data inside the database. And as we have already discussed, you can retrieve the data in any format from this database using the software associated with database management system. Now, database management system works as an intermediary between the database and the user. Relational Database Management System, or RDBMS. Here, the raw data which is collected is organized, and we are going to divide the data into different tables. And these tables will be connected to one another using primary key or foreign key. So in this way, when you store the data redundancy can be reduced to a considerable level. Examples of RDBMS are SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, MariaDB, and SQLite. Now let us look into some of the terms related to RDBMS. The first one is relation or table. So relation is another name of table. A table or a relation is a collection of data held in a table format within a database. It consists of columns and rows. So table or a relation is a format where data is stored in terms of rows and columns. Next is domain. Domain is a pool from where the data for the table is being chosen. So it is a pool of values from which actual value present in the table are taken. Now what is a column? Okay, the vertical segments in a table are called columns. So what are rows? The horizontal segments in a table are called rows. The complete row of a table gives the complete information about an item and object represented by the table. So it is also called record. Now, degree of the table. This is one of the important questions. What is the degree of a table? Degree of a table means how many columns are there in the table. Number of columns in the table are called degree. You count the number of columns in the table. That is the degree of the given table. Now, cardinality. Cardinality is the number of rows of the table. How many number of rows are there in the table? That is the cardinality of the table. If a table is given and you've been asked to find out the cardinality and degree of a table, you should count number of columns, and number of column means the degree of the table. Cardinality means number of rows. You count the number of rows of the table, that is the cardinality of the table. So you should not count the heading of the table. Okay, heading of the table will not be counted when you count the cardinality of the table. Next is primary key. Primary key is a unique key that identifies each record of the table. Okay, so Primary key must uniquely identify each record of the table. In an employee table, employee ID can be primary key because it cannot be repeated. It will be unique for every employee. In a school or in a class, roll number in a class, roll number is a primary key. If you are talking about a school, admission number can be the primary key because it will be unique for each student. So in a table, what key or which key can be taken as or can be used to represent each row uniquely? That key, particular key, is called primary key. Now, foreign key. It is a field or column in a table that refers to a column or set of column in another table. So, suppose your class teacher is having a table in which your roll number, name, and marks are stored. And your office, school office, have another table in which admission number, address, email ID of your parent are stored. Okay. Now, suppose you want to connect these two tables. We are talking about relational database management system. So we should connect these two tables. So if you want to connect these two tables, you can connect the tables using the primary key of any one of the table. Suppose I am going to connect this table to the table with the teacher's table, then what I should do is I should add or I should give the reference of admission number in my teacher table. Okay. So admission number becomes the foreign key for the table with the teacher is having. Same in the same manner, if the office people want to get data from the table which the teacher is having, office people can keep or can give a reference to the primary key of the table which is teacher having. Here, roll number will be the primary key. So office people can give a reference to roll number. So roll number becomes the foreign key to this table. Let us look into the RDBMS concepts using an example. Here a table is given, the table name is result, and the table has roll number, name, M1, M2 and M3 as keys. All the vertical lines are called columns in a table and all the horizontal lines are called rows in a table. Or columns can be called as fields and rows can be called as records. What is degree? Number of columns in a table is called degree. Now, so the given relation result is having the degree of how many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the table result is having degree as 5. And the cardinality means number of rows in the table. So this given table has cardinality as 3. Now see this example. Here we will see what is primary key, foreign key, candidate key and all. So here in the first table we have roll number, we have RID, name, M1, M2, M3 and admin number. Which key can uniquely represent all the records in this table? Roll number can represent all the records in the table. And if you see RID is also not repeating, so this can be also used as a primary key. Name cannot be used as a primary key because name, two persons may have same name, and marks also cannot be used as primary key. So there are two candidates here, roll number and RID. So you can choose any one of this as primary key. So candidate keys are roll number and RID. So if you are selecting roll number as primary key, then RID becomes alternate key. So there are two candidate key, roll number and RID, and you have chosen roll number as primary key. So RID became alternate key. Now here you can see ADMNO is not required in this table. This is used to connect these two tables together. So ADMNO is a reference of the second table to the relation result. So this is called foreign key. The ADMNO in the relation result is a foreign key to this table. So that's all for today's video. We are winding up here. Today we have learned about DBMS, RDBMS and concepts of RDBMS. We also learned about candidate key, primary key, alternate key and foreign key. And we learned about degree and cardinality of a table and some of the key terms used in RDBMS. So let us continue learning in coming videos. Until then, have a nice day. Keep learning.